Okay, I'm Delta Kern, I'm the clinic manager, and here's Prairie View Clinic.
The community is in a certain sense shrinking. The oil helps to buffer it. When the oil's down, of course, jobs don't hold. There is a lot of Medicare and Medicaid out here. Medicare because they're elderly, Medicaid because some people just don't have jobs. So we don't treat necessarily what you would term the indigent here, but we have a lot that would fall into that range, and they have a lot of health issues.
I'm Gerald Keith, and I've been in Cheyenne County for 59 years. I was born and raised here. I was superintendent of Kit Carson School District, which is 25 miles from here, for 20 years, 10 years a teacher and a coach there, so 30 years in education. I'm currently the president of the hospital board and Cheyenne County judge, and have grandkids and family that have lived in this community for generations.
The people out here are really good people. They've all been out here a long time. I'll never be able to fully fit in, but they make you feel welcome. Medicine at this level and this type of community is very rewarding to a doctor, especially a family doctor, because you do get to see everybody. You get to see them from real little to 102, I think was the oldest one I had at one point. So, and you do get to follow them through. You get to know them. It's just a good place to be.
Dad was old school. He made house calls when they still did that. He took chickens for payments, things of that nature that that are unheard of anymore. He also operated when you were still at a time where a physician had the time to talk and learn about families, and I think the community docs that we have here now are very good at that. I like rural Colorado and especially Cheyenne Wells because it's always been home, and everything always comes down to people, relationships, and interactions that you're able to have. And I think what I appreciate the most in rural communities is how they pull together when things are bad. And it's easy for everything and everyone when things are going well. But if any family or your family suffers any kind of loss, tragedy, or is in need, it's just amazing how rural communities, and especially this one, rally together like it's a loss of one of their own, and because it is, to support each other. So that's what makes rural America, for that matter, great.
So how have you kind of seen things change over your time here?
I think we've seen a period where there's just not a lot to offer for young kids to come back, but slowly we've seen some kids come back, get married, raise kids, whether they were, help. Agriculture has become so efficient that it doesn't take as many people to work on the farm anymore. But if they're able to come back in that field, or some of them have come back and worked for a business, and so we're really thrilled about the idea that we're getting some of the young kids back in the community. But I think the population demographics are one of the things that are going to be against us, especially if oil and gas continues to decline.
We've got a fairly old population out here. Sometimes I joke that we're average age is like 70, 75. We do have an older population, definitely, but we see everything from newborns all the way through. And with the elderly, it's the diabetes, it's the hypertension, it's the heart disease, everything you'd expect. But there's some awfully darn healthy 80, 90-year-olds in this town.
The clinic is huge in the community. Healthcare is huge. We have a big elderly population that's, without this facility here, would have to travel, and that's not always an option for the elderly community.
But our younger families kind of come and go, and it's great to have them all here if we can. So that's another reason we need to keep our hospital, to also have that an added feature for our little town, because it does affect all our businesses in town.
And just changing demographics. Can you get your young people to come back to the community? And we've had some luck with that, but every organization or the clinic, everything depends on young people staying, raising kids, and keeping the community vibrant and the clinic vibrant as well. The clinic is very important to a whole lot of people, and I think you talk about new parents or young parents who have a child who's ill. Without this clinic, their first line of defense is going to be the emergency room, and that's not a direction I think that healthcare wants to go. It's something that they need to move away from. But
this facility is tremendously important out here, and in the 4 years I've been here, I've seen we've had our challenges. When I first got here financially, it was a huge challenge. It has since gotten better because the community has pulled together to keep it here. When you've got an older population, especially like we have, they need to be able to get to health care and not have to drive long distances to do it, because physically it's a challenge for them. Not to mention, a lot of them shouldn't be driving very far, so they've got to find family members, and it's hard.
I think the one thing I would say to a legislator is, don't forget we're here. And I think that happens as you look in all the health reform or whatever it may be. As they're looking always at the bottom line, they lose sight of who it impacts and who's going to take care of the people in this community or any rural community in Colorado. We deserve to be considered when decisions are made. We understand the big picture in many things. We just want them to understand the big picture when it comes to decisions that impact rural clinics and rural health care.